A very good morning to all of you and welcome to the session, the Hindu editorial analysis for proficiency in English. Let us spend some time on the front page of the Hindu paper and we'll start with the snippets. The very first one, PM's broadside, an important word. Good morning, Venkatesh, and who is this Srikanth? Let me ask a question. Can you guess the meaning of the word broadside? Try to guess what is the meaning of broadside. Not at all easy to guess. It means fierce verbal attack. Fierce verbal attack. Very difficult to guess. Good morning to all of you. What is the meaning of broadside? Very difficult to guess. It means fierce verbal attack. Now, how do you understand? PM's broadside means what? PM's fierce verbal attack. Modi says Congress crushed. Crush means to spoil something, to destroy something. Usually it goes with a piece of paper. You take a piece of paper, you crush it, crumple, crush, destroy. They all mean the same. Crushed constitution for power. Crushed what? Constitution for power. An important word. Oh, very good. Who is this? Venkata Balaram. I appreciate. Not easy to guess. Broadside, it is a word of the day in my opinion. Because in the exam, if at all they give a question based on what is the meaning of broadside, not easy to guess. Now let us go to the second snippet. Peruvian laureate, Nobel-winning novelist Mario Vargas Llosa dies. Here we have a pic of the writer. Nobel laureate, usually we say Nobel laureate, means what? The one who has won Nobel Prize. And he has got in the field of literature because he's a novelist. Nobel-winning novelist Mario Vargas Llosa dies. They could have used passes away, would have been better. That goes with euphemism. You all know the meaning of the word euphemism. What does it mean? To say something that is harsh in a nice way. Exactly. Madhu, very good. I appreciate. And here, when you see the word novelist, you have to think of two words, fiction, non-fiction. When we talk about English novels, we have two categories broadly, fiction, non-fiction. Fiction means what? Someone's imagination, hero, heroine, villain, all that stuff. Non-fiction based on facts and figures, based on facts, society, culture. Those two words you have to recollect. Coming to the next snippet, injustice alleged. Justice, injustice. And there's one word here in the word justice itself. Just. Just is an important word. You may ask why. Only take the word just. He has just come. Which tense is that? Present perfect tense. Present perfect, I give 5 uses. One of the uses, it is used to express recently completed actions with the word just. When we say just, he has just come, she has just left. We are talking about a recently completed action with the word just. One meaning, grammar point of view. But just has another meaning. Very good. Who is that? Madhu again. Just means a fair, proper. She has got just treatment. He hasn't got just treatment. Means what? Perfect or something that can be justified. Just behavior, just treatment. An important word. What does it say? Alleged. We have got this word many a time. Allegation, accusation. Allege, accuse. Say someone has done something wrong without any proof. And once you throw allegations or accusations, you are blaming in a way. After some time, you stop blaming that person. What are the two important words from the exam point of view? One is exonerate, the other one is absolve. These two words are very good. Pavani and Pavani, both the words she has come up with. Wonderful. RLJP led by, lead, led, led. What is the verb over here? Lead. What is the past form led? Led by Pasupati Kumar Paras quits NDA. It goes with politics, political news, and quit, you all know. And I always tell students, candidates who are preparing for competitive exams to remember a popular saying, an important saying. What is it? Winners never quit, quitters never win. Based on that, you have to recollect. Now let us go to the next one. Usually the red background and white letters, something important. What does it say? Data point, datum, data. Data can also be a collective noun. Based on that, we can use a singular verb as well as a plural verb with a data. Data point, while Israel government wants war, most Israelis don't. There's a difference between the government and the people. Two opposing stands. What is the stand of Israeli government led by Benjamin Netanyahu? The government wants war. But what is at the ground level, ground reality? What do people want? They don't want war. While Israel government wants war, most Israelis don't. When someone doesn't want war, what is the word we use? A person who doesn't want war. Pacifist. What is the word? Pacifist. Very good, Madhu. I appreciate that. Surveys suggest citizens' fear impact on economy. They must have conducted a survey. Based on the survey, what is that they have found? They have found that people, they don't want war. The reason behind that, they feel they have the apprehension. What is the apprehension? The war may impact the economy. They fear impact on economy. Any impact on economy, not good, so they don't want war. Yesterday, last evening, many of you must have watched the match, a thrilling match, and Dhoni played a crucial role along with Dubey. Turning it around, there's an important expression. The CEO of the company has turned the company around. What does it mean? Imagine the company is in doldrums, in dire straits, making heavy losses. The new CEO brings out a few new policies, and the whole thing changes from losses to gains, losses to profits. Then we say the CEO has turned it around, has turned the profits of the company around. Imagine you're talking about a bus or a ship. Then you can use go upside down, turn turtle, go upside down, capsize. Those words you have to recollect. Very good. Who is this? Murali, turn turtle, but goes with a different context. What does the snippet say? Dubey and Dhoni help CSK snap losing streak. Two important words here. One is snap, the other one losing streak. What is this snap? Snap means to break suddenly. If you take a particular tree, suddenly the branch breaks, then we say the branch snapped. That is one meaning. It also goes with ropes. You're trying to pull something, suddenly the rope breaks, then snapped. And we also use someone has snapped the fingers, a different meaning. And to cut suddenly, to stop suddenly. Stop what? A losing streak, an important expression. Generally, we talk about sports, cricket or tennis. Imagine there's a tennis player has been winning, and then we use the expression winning streak. Suddenly, someone defeats that person, then there's a break for his winning streak. Here, quite contrary. Chennai has been losing matches. Suddenly, it has turned around. They won the match last evening based on that snap losing streak. Important expressions you have to remember. Winning streak, losing streak. Coming to the main headline of today's paper, what does it say? Protests against Waqf Act turn violent in West Bengal's Bhangar. Yesterday we got one editorial. What is it? Mushirabad, there's some trouble today, a new place, another place. What is that one? It is Bhangar. Goes with Waqf Act and violence against that. Let us go to a snippet over here. Diesel demand growth falls to lowest since 2020. Diesel demand growth falls to lowest since 2020. Means what? It goes with the demand for diesel has gone down. The next snippet, Hamas seeks guarantees to free hostages. Hamas, we all know, they have captured Israelis. They have been kept as hostages for quite some time, many months. I think so many months. And now they have a new demand, keeping truce or peace in mind. What is that demand? They want some sort of guarantees. Hamas seeks guarantees to free hostages. They are willing to free hostages, sort. Job seekers, you're all job seekers. Hamas seeks what? Some sort of guarantees from Israel to release the hostages. And it has been going on for quite some time. Thousands of people have lost lives. New tensions flare between France and Algeria. New tensions flare. Flare up. There's a phrasal verb. What is it? Flare up. Flare up means what? Burst out. Someone is very angry. Uh, Rajkumar, just have a look. Something has popped up. Try to remove that. Here, flare up goes with anger, emotions. Flare up means out of control. Here we have another snippet. Pakistan urges Iran to probe killing of 8. Urge, request, plea. We have got many a time. And killing of 8. Probe. Probe means what? Investigation. But some people try to find out about others all the time. Then we say probing nature. Not a good thing. Now let us go to the beautiful pic over here. Bihu beats. Bihu is the New Year Assamese festival. On the occasion, it is like marking the new year. Bihu beats. Rhythmic spirit. You can make out from that. A troupe performs for Rongoli Bihu, which marks the Assamese New Year in Guwahati on Monday. As I said, Bihu is what? Assamese New Year. That is also an important festival. 3 types of Bihu. 7 days festival, 14 to 21, Assam. Oh, new information. Lokesh and Balaram. Very good. Let us go to the other headline. Telangana becomes first state to notify subcategorization of scheduled castes. This goes with reservations. All the words are very simple. Stock surge. Surge we have got many a time. What does it mean? Sudden increase, one meaning. Another meaning, sudden forward movement. Sudden forward movement, one meaning. Sudden increase in numbers, another meaning. Here, stock surge, sudden increase, go up. After US tariff exemptions, even as Trump doubles down on China. There's one important expression here. Double down. Double down means to do the same thing with more intensity. You are doing something and you try to do it with more intensity. Then it is known as double down. Stock surge after US tariff exemptions, 90 days they have paused US tariff exemptions, even as Trump doubles down on China. Now let us go to the other headlines. 𝐄𝐲𝐢𝐭𝐨𝐫𝐢𝐚 arrested in Belgium as India seeks extradition. Belgium. 𝐄𝐲𝐢𝐭𝐨𝐫𝐢𝐚 related to what? Financial fraud fallout, an overview of the Mehul Choksi case. I think as prospective bankers, you know this. You know about that person, and he has become a fugitive. Now the government has arrested. They ask for extradition. We all know the word. India seeks extradition. Choksi arrested. But there's one important, the name of the country is what? Belgium. Way back in 80s, Belgium was in the news. It was in the limelight. I'm talking about 80s. There was an article, National Geographic magazine. The cover story says it's all about dying societies. Have you heard of this expression any time? Dying societies. Dying societies means a country where the population decline is there, new generation you don't come across, and the existing generation, the people become very old and they don't go in for reproduction. No new generation, no kids. Then eventually what happens? No new generation, no progeny, and existing population slowly gets aged and they die. Then the society becomes a dead society. Based on that, they wrote an article. A few countries in Europe, not very popular, but they are on the verge of, on the brink of becoming dying societies title, on the brink of becoming dead societies. Japan also to some extent, you're right. Who is that? Vishnu. Perfect. But do read an important article. That's all from the front page. Let us go to the editorial analysis. And today's editorial, let me tell you, it's all about RTI Act. It goes with the legal dimension, and it goes with transparency, it goes with governance, and it goes with amendments, constitution. A bit difficult to understand, a bit difficult to comprehend. And you got to read once, twice, thrice. And surprisingly, not too many words. This is the enrichment, and usually we get about 5 to 10 words, sometimes 10 plus, sometimes 15 plus. But today's editorial, though it is difficult to understand, though it is difficult to comprehend, the vocab part, only 3 or 4 words. Let us see what those words are. The very first one, we have got a few times. What is the meaning of unwarranted? Unwarranted means unnecessary, not required. Imagine a group is there and people are talking serious matter. Suddenly someone says something that is irrelevant. Then we say that is unwarranted, unnecessary, not required. Part of speech adjective, meaning, not justified or authorized without good reason. You say something that cannot be justified, or you say something without any good reason. Then we say unwarranted. Example, the criticism was harsh and completely unwarranted. Imagine someone tried to criticize someone else and the criticism was very harsh. And based on that, we can say that is unwarranted. No need to say, no need to be so harsh. Completely unwarranted. Word forms warrant. Warrant has 2 meanings. You all know. One meaning, arrest warrant. That is a different thing, a legal term. Warrant also means demand. That situation does not warrant immediate action. Have you heard of this? The situation doesn't warrant immediate action. Means what? Doesn't demand immediate action. Another meaning. Unwarrantedly adverbial form. Warrant can be noun, can be verb. Word combinations, unwarranted interference, unwarranted criticism, unwarranted fear. Now, today, what is happening in the US? A lot is happening, a lot, because of Donald Trump. And he is focusing on those who are doing something illegal. He is focusing on illegal residents. Nothing wrong in that. It can be justified beyond any doubt. No country wants illegal residents to be. And those who are staying in the US legally, they don't have to fear. If at all they fear, then we say unwarranted fear. That's what it means. Word usage used to describe actions, concerns, or opinions that lack justification or reason. What you say, what you do cannot be justified. Then we say unwarranted. Synonyms, unjustified, baseless, unnecessary, groundless, inappropriate. Antonyms, justified, reasonable, necessary, warranted, valid. When you see the word valid, you have to recollect null and void. Null means what? Something that is not valid. Make something invalid. Encumbrance. Have we come across this word? I don't think so. Encumbrance, an important word. Part of speech noun meaning a burden or hindrance, something that impedes progress. We have got many a time. Anal also you should recollect. Madhu, very good. This is not a regular word. Regular word. Coming to impede, hindrance, impediment, hurdle, bottleneck, block. All these words you have to recollect. We have got many a time. Example, the property was sold without any legal encumbrance, without any legal hindrances, without any legal hurdles. Encumber, it's a regular verb, encumbered, word combinations, legal, financial, without encumbrance. Word usage used in both legal and general contexts to refer to obstacles or liabilities, especially in property or administrative settings. Property and administrative settings. Synonyms, obstacle, burden, hindrance, impediment, liability. All these words are very important. Antonyms, freedom, asset, advantage, clearance. Simple words. Appellate, there is a legal term. Appellate court, appellate authority. Have you heard of this? If you read the newspapers, you come across quite often. Part of speech adjective, what does it mean? Relating to appeals or the power to review and change decision made by lower courts. Lower courts make a decision, give the judgment, and the higher level court, then we say appellate court, higher level. Example, the case will be heard in the appellate court next month. Word forms appeal. Oh, this comes from appeal. Appeal has two different meanings. Tribunal also you can say. Who is this? Bhavani. Very good. Appellate tribunal. And appeal has two different meanings. Apex court also you can say. Shrikant. Good. One meaning, appeal means what? It's a legal term. Urge, request, appeal. But appealing style, appealing looks means what? Attractive, fascinating. A different meaning altogether. Noun, verb, appellant, noun, word combinations, court, jurisdiction, important word, authority, important. Word usage used almost exclusively in legal contexts, especially in reference to courts and legal processes. It's a legal term. That's what I said at the outset. Synonyms, reviewing, judicial, in context, appellate level. Antonyms, original, as in original jurisdiction. Trial level. All legal terms. That's all about the editorial vocabulary. I think 3 or 4 words, not too many, but not easy to understand. A word of caution because it goes with legal sphere or legal realm. Unnecessary change. To provide the background information, there is a particular act, RTI Act, Right to Information, and I made some changes, amendments, and the editorial takes a stand, editorial opines. These changes are unnecessary, unwarranted, not at all required. The entire editorial goes with that particular line of thought. Unnecessary change. Amending the RTI Act through the Data Protection Bill is unwarranted. Now, amend means what? To change, bring about the changes. Amending what? The RTI Act. How? Through the Data Protection Bill is unwarranted, unnecessary, not at all required. Let us see how the editorial justifies that idea. That the Right to Information Act and the use of RTIs have enhanced two things. That the Right to Information Act and the use of RTIs have enhanced present perfect active voice. Enhance, I'm sure you all know. What does it mean? Improve. Have enhanced the accountability, answerable of those in governance in India goes without saying. Because of this particular act, it has resulted in transparency. 2005, yes, during Manmohan Singh government. Who is this Madhu? Good, I appreciate that contribution. And goes without saying. That's an important expression you have to remember. Something goes without saying means what? Something is quite obvious. Obvious means what? Goes without saying. In the last few years, there have been attempts to dilute the provisions of the Act. In the last few years, this is also an important phrase. In the last few years, I hope you guys are focusing on the phrases as well, because we have an important topic, phrase replacement. And awareness related to phrases is very important, exam point of view. When you read a phrase like in the last few years, what does it mean? From the past to the present. Then immediately you have to think of present perfect tense. Here it isn't present perfect. They have been. It is active voice. In the last few years, there have been attempts to dilute the provisions of the Act. Dilute the provisions, the conditions of the Act, provided in the Act, provisions of the Act, a landmark one that was passed 20 years ago. And this particular act, a landmark act. And when was it passed? 20 years ago. Passed 20 years ago. Here, a common error. A lot of people say 20 years back. You cannot say back. 20 years ago. That is important. Clearly, some in governance and administration have treated the act and its provisions on transparency and disclosure to be encumbrances. Here, the editorial is trying to be subtle. Some means vague, indefinite, not definite, not specific. Some in governance and administration have treated the act, again, present perfect active voice, and its provisions on transparency and disclosure to be encumbrances. They feel that way. And based on that, perhaps they want to make changes. They wanted to make changes. A significant threat has now emerged in the amendment to section. A significant threat has now emerged in the amendment. They have amended that. And once they have amended, obviously, based on that, the sentence says some sort of threat has emerged, has come into existence. A significant means important threat has now emerged in the amendment to section 8(1)(j) of the Act, which has been introduced. Here it is in passive voice. They have introduced something. Something has been introduced, present perfect passive voice, which has been introduced in section 44(3) of the Digital Personal Data Protection (DPDP) Act 2023. All legal, you got to read twice or thrice. The Act itself is an outcome of K.S. Puttaswamy 2017, a judgment that upheld the right of privacy as a fundamental right under Article 21 of the Constitution. This is based on fundamental right. Which article deals with fundamental right? Article 21 of the Constitution. And it goes with the right of privacy as a fundamental right. Section 8(1)(j) of the RTA Act allows government bodies to withhold information which relates to public information, provided its disclosure is not related to public interest or results in an unnecessary invasion of privacy. Now, there are certain dimensions with any act for that matter. Here, there are two dimensions. Though it talks about transparency, the government has a power to withhold the information, to hold the information, not to disclose, not to divulge, not to reveal the information. On what grounds? There are two dimensions. One, Section 8(1)(j) of the RTA Act allows government bodies to withhold information which relates to public information, provided, means it has to meet certain conditions. If it meets certain conditions, they can withhold the information, provided its disclosure is not related to public interest. Imagine they reveal the information but not related to public interest, they don't have to reveal. First dimension. Or if at all they reveal, results in an unnecessary invasion of privacy. If they disclose information, it results in unnecessary what? Invasion of someone's privacy. Then also they can hold the information, they don't have to disclose. While doing so, it provides a safeguard that if the public information officer or an appellate authority finds public interest in disclosing such information, it could still be available. While doing so, it provides a safeguard that if the public information officer or an appellate authority finds public interest in disclosing such information, if they find it related to public interest, then they cannot withhold. It is not related to public interest, they can withhold. It could still be available. Even if they feel that way, it's still available. This safeguard is important. Safeguard. This safeguard is important. Since information related to public servants, such as college degrees or caste certificates, might be private, but as a recent and controversial case of a bureaucrat using a fake caste certificate showed, such information could be released in public interest. It talks about what can be released, what cannot be released. And recently, you all know one woman IAS officer used a fake certificates. It became controversial and she came into the limelight. Her services have been terminated. And it talks about that. In that case, they can disclose some information related to public servants, civil servants, such as college degrees or caste certificates, might be private. Though they are private, they are related to public interest. Puja. They are related to public interest. In that case, they have to disclose. But as a recent and controversial case of a bureaucrat using a fake caste certificate showed, such information could be released in public interest. That is one thing. Section 44(3) of the DPDP Act amends Section 8(1)(j) by allowing government bodies to simply withhold personal information without the safeguard provisions on public interest or other such exceptions. What does amendment allow the government? Red tapeism, you have to recollect. Red tapeism means what? Bureaucratic hurdles. Section 44(3) of the DPDP Act amends Section 8(1)(j) by allowing government bodies to simply withhold personal information without the safeguard provisions on public interest or other such exceptions. They can withhold, they don't have to disclose. In a letter to Congress leader Jairam Ramesh, Union Minister of Information and Broadcasting Ashwini Vaishnaw defended the amendment, saying that Section 44(3) was aimed at preventing the RTA Act's misuse. Why did they do that? To prevent something, prevent the RTA Act's misuse or abuse, and was to harmonize the requirement of right to privacy and the right to information. The government is trying to justify saying this. Saying what? They are doing it because they want to prevent the RTA Act's misuse, one thing. And the second thing, they want to harmonize the requirement of right to privacy and the right to information. Two things are there. One is right to privacy. The other one, right to information. They have to balance. Here, harmonize means what? Balance. He also said that information such as salaries of public officials would still remain accessible through Section 3 of the DPDP Act. Salaries they don't have to withhold. They can make them public. But by amending the RTA Act itself, an outcome that was never the intention of K.S. Puttaswamy, and by defining personal information vaguely in Section 44(3) of the DPDP Act, authorities could deny RTA requests of previously public data by classifying them as personal and lessen public scrutiny. Now the government has an option. What is it? If the government doesn't want to disclose information, they can put it under personal category and withhold the information. And in a way that results in lack of transparency, lessen public scrutiny. The RTA Act already harmonizes concerns related to the right to information and privacy by subjecting them to the question of public interest. Original Act has already harmonized two things. One is right to information, the other one privacy. How? By subjecting them to the question of public interest. In keeping in mind public interest, the information has to be disclosed. Therefore, the amendment using the DPDP Act is unnecessary and unwarranted. Main idea is being reiterated. The government must take the concerns of civil society and transparency activist, and remove the provision amending the RTA Act in the DPDP Act. And that is a stand taken by the editorial. Editorial says government has to remove that amendment, keeping in mind, one, the concerns of civil society, second, the concerns of transparency activists, and remove the provision amending the RTA Act in the DPDP Act. It ends on that note. Now let us go to questions based on reading comprehension skill and also listening skill. And before you try to answer an editorial like this, which is a little complicated, at first reading you may not be able to understand. You need a bit of background information. And you have to get the background information. Then you read, it becomes easy to comprehend. What is the primary concern expressed by the editorial regarding the amendment made through the DPDP Act? Primary concern? No. Strengthens privacy. It removes safeguards in the RTA Act that allow disclosure in public interest. Answer should be C. Oh, very good, within no time. Sunny, Murli, and Bhavani, Anant also. Go to the next one. According to the editorial, how did the original RTA Act handle the balance between privacy and the right to information? Two things here. One is privacy, the other one right to information. It prioritized privacy over the right to information. It excluded all personal data from public disclosure. It considered public interest as a criterion before disclosing personal information. This is a valid point. Ultimately, what matters, public interest. Public interest based on that is a criterion, an important word. Why is it important? Criterion singular, criteria plural. That you should recollect. Before disclosing personal information. Answer is C. What implication does editorial suggest about the term personal information in section 44.3 of the DPDP Act? Clearly defined? No. The editorial uses not clearly defined. What is the other word? Not clear, vague, ambiguous, obscure. It is vague and could be used to deny legitimate RTA request. All these are not relevant. These are a bit difficult to answer. Good, Murli. B is the answer. Let us go to which of the following best captures the tone of the editorial? Sarcastic, indifferent, objective and balanced, cautious and advisory. Cautious and advisory. Not critical and assertive. You can also say, I think better would be critical and assertive, because it starts with a particular stand and ends on that particular stand. What is it? Critical and assertive. Not C. D is the answer. I've given the meaning of the word assertive many a time. Assertive. You should be assertive at the workplace. What does it mean? Firm. Yes, Vishnu. D is the answer. Anant also. What example does the editorial give to support the need for public interest exceptions in the RTA Act? The editorial mentions the example of a civil servant, IAS officer, a whistleblower, no, a public servant forging educational documents. I think here, a public servant forging educational documents, a bureaucrat using a fake caste certificate. Which one has been mentioned in the editorial? A bureaucrat using a fake caste certificate. Let us go to questions based on mini mocks. First one, error location. The violence which began on April 8 continues unabated, despite all prohibitory orders and the suspension of internet services. Our students can answer this in 1 second. Many students know, despite does not take the preposition of. But we always come across those who watch this for the first time or newcomers. They should know this because it's an important rule. The administration has failed to prevent the current unrest, even though Mushirabad witnessed similar violence in 2019. This is a challenging one. In spite of should be written as three separate words. Venkatesh, very good. Madhu also. Vishnu, in spite of, despite. Between the two, which one you have to choose? One exam they gave. Five options, three options not relevant. Of the remaining two options, despite, in spite of. You have to choose despite. What is the reason? Despite is a little more formal than in spite of. This is not easy. Here we cannot say even though. We have to use even after. Even though is not correct. What is the correct expression? The administration has failed to prevent the current unrest even after Mushirabad witnessed similar violence in 2019. Not easy. I don't think anyone has responded. Even though is not correct, what is the correct expression? Even after. Choose one, the appropriate word. Political parties have chosen to, the flames, rather than promote calm. Quench goes with thirst, and flare. Flare can be considered fan, suppress. But between the two clearly mentioned, which one is it? Fan the flames. Exactly. Spread the flames. The Mamata Banerjee government must act and impartially to restore normalcy. Must act how? Wishes means negative word, bad. Seldom means rarely. Carelessly, why will they? Swiftly means what? Immediately. The Mamata Banerjee government must act swiftly, quickly, and impartially to restore normalcy. Now we have double pillars. The state remains on edge ahead of every major religious festival, and policing has grown and increasingly has grown. If you remember the editorial, negative context, not praising the policing but criticizing the policing. We need negative words. Strict, no. Efficient, positive words. Weak, politicized. Tough, no. Alert, no. These are all positive expressions. You need a negative expression. So what is the answer? Policing has grown weak and increasingly politicized. As tensions over the Ram Navami processions and the Waqf amendment, political parties have flames. As tensions calmed, no, escalated, parties have fanned the flames. Already we have seen. So what is the answer? B is the answer. All other, here calmed, doused. Douse means to pour liquid or petrol or water on something. Subside means go down. Quench goes with thirst. Dwindle, go down. Dwindling numbers, dwindling standards. I've given many a time. Here we have absolved the word. In which sentence has it been used properly? The fire brigade absolved the building in minutes. The judge absolved the accused of all charges. Yes. What is the answer here? Absolve, exonerate, stop blaming someone. B is the answer. Very good. On edge, what does it mean? The expression on edge. On edge means what? Literally at the boundary, economically poor, in a state of nervous tension. When you're tensed up, then we should use this. On the edge, on edge. No, B, C is the answer. Tension, to be tensed up. We have three words. Tacit means what? Understood without words, implied. Deploy, position strategically. Impoverish, to make poor. That's it. That's all for today. I hope you guys have got enriched. This editorial you have to read twice or thrice, not easy to understand. That too, with background information. Then it becomes easy, otherwise a bit difficult. And only a few words are there, important words. Thank you very much for being with me till the fag end of the session. Have a nice day. I will see you guys tomorrow.